Hi everyone, my name is Felicia, and my brother Michael was the founder of the Voice of Healing in Houston, Texas. And he started the church back when we were home at our parents' house, really, in Pennsylvania years ago. And it was then called Forerunner International Ministries, and was in California for 12 years before going to Texas 2.5 years before he died. And I had already made a statement last night. I had it, nice and scripted, I guess, a little bit. I want to say that since my brother's church was starting to dissolve as of 2 nights ago, when the man who took over for 4.5 months after he died in May stepped down, and there appears to be other things that I won't get into, but it's definitely on social media about some legal action taken against people. I don't want to really get into that because we have our own issue that's happening right here, and that is just simply that we have never seen our brother's ashes. This is a lot more raw than what I did last night, you guys. The church, they got paperwork through their attorney, who then, basically submitted it to the coroner's office in Montgomery County, Texas, when he died. And they approved it. They gave them my brother's body, and we never saw any ashes that came from that. They had an open casket down in Houston, Texas, and then they cremated him, and we were supposed to get the ashes, and we never got the ashes for one reason or another. And I have been reaching out to everybody again now that the church is dissolving, before these ashes disappear. I guess they don't have to disappear, but it just feels that way. It feels like everything is disappearing right now. The church, someone from the church is deleting all social media. The Voice of Healing Facebook page is gone, and probably has something to do with all the other stuff that's happening. And the big thing for us is the ashes. That we need closure with our brother. We have been bleeding profusely, and this would actually be a good step in our collective healing. And a lot of those out there who are hurting even for us, to know that something good came out of this, that Michael went home to his family. His ashes aren't on a shelf somewhere, and, we got to bury him. What happened to us was very odd, to say the least. It's very damaging, and I've tried to contact some of the people involved in that the last couple of days, and I did talk to one, and actually the one who took care of the remains, and his name's on the death certificate, and he was, handling all that, and he says that he doesn't have the ashes. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore, but either way, whoever has them, you know who you are, and you probably all know each other, and you guys really need to give them to us now. And I'm hoping that by going public with it and not stating names, that, that will be one way that we can just kind of settle this. But I did try to reach out. I did tell you that I was going to do this, but I'm trying to be nice about it. And I do have the right, actually, to really bring out names if I wanted to, because there's names on everything. It's not going to help us in getting Michael's ashes, and I don't want his ashes put over our head either to, yeah, I'm not going to do that either. So we just need to get them. There's a very simple way that you can transport ashes. You go to a funeral home, any funeral home. It doesn't even have to be the funeral home where the ashes were, made. The body was cremated. You can go to any funeral home and have that funeral home deliver them to a funeral home of the recipient's choice, and boom, the end. And then our lives kind of settle a little bit, and we really need that, you guys. And I'm telling you, please. And those of you who are watching this, I know a lot of these people. I don't hate them. But I'm not obviously happy with it. None of us are in the family. None of our friends are happy with it. Those who hear the story are like, what? That they can't believe it. Nobody can believe it. We can't believe that this was thrust on us, that we lost our brother. All of his other dealings, that's a whole different matter I'm not going to get into right now. We are still grieving, and we need that closure with our brother. No matter what anybody thinks about the church, no matter what anybody thinks about him, we love him, okay? Period. End of discussion. And I'm sorry if anybody was hurt by the church. I really am. And I've talked to people about it, even people from the past who had fallings out and things like that. I mean, I'll talk to anybody, but he's our brother, and this was thrust upon us. We weren't members of the church. We just got sucked up in something that had really nothing to do with us, and we just want him to be laid to rest with our parents, and that's it. That's all I want really at this point. I need to tell this story. I need to talk about it. I need to feel that something good is going to come out of this, and it might help someone, or it might help me. I'm not wanting to disparage people. I know a lot of people are screwed up, and we're screwed up. This whole friggin' world is screwed up, people. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of crazy stuff happening right now. We need to all take responsibility for our own lives. And my brother, he paid the ultimate, okay? He paid the ultimate. He had his body cut open for this autopsy. It was very hard for us to know that he was, laying in a cold room. I mean, I know it wasn't really him anymore, but, we're going through our own hell, okay? And I do see the comments online, and people are upset, that used to go there, but others, just love my brother. And even ones that left, a lot of them still care about him too, and saw a lot of good in my brother. My brother did have a lot of good in him. And so this is the raw version. I'm gonna just go stand in front of this window. I haven't even really gotten ready today. But, I also want to say too, in Montgomery County, I believe part of the reason why we lost my brother's remains are because we never got to see documentation. I would have maybe had a chance, let's put it that way, to contest if I were able to see the documentation. And you have to understand, he had just died, right? We are totally out of our minds. He's 61 years old. He's as strong as an ox, and now all of a sudden he's having his body sawed open, and it's very it's very upsetting to think about that. Most people don't realize that, but within the same day, we find out that the church was going to take him. Okay, and just imagine we're grieving, and then that happens. It's an odd, bizarre situation. It's kind of. It's weird, it's embarrassing, really. We don't come from an era where we go out and go on social media and talk about our whole lives. That's just not what we do. So, I'll probably get flacked for this, but it's really my appeal that we really need to resolve this. My brother's body belongs to us. Anybody can come, we bury him, they can go see the grave. It's not just one person, two people that get to hang out with my brother for the rest of, their lives, and we'll be like way gone already. It's time to let go. It's time to let go of him. Nobody owns my brother, okay? And I believe he'd want to be with his family and his father and mother, be buried with them. I think he would want that now. Things are a little too crazy right now, and he wouldn't want this. I know he wouldn't. I feel my brother with me all the time, and it just needs to end now, please. I'm not going to keep begging. This is my only appeal that I'm going to do. Okay? This is it. And I hope that everybody who's watching, I even hate saying this because it sounds so cliche, but if you can subscribe and bring up my numbers, and I do in the future do more videos. I'll do videos of some sort. I mean, I already have that in my mind. But in terms of my brother, this whole situation, I've been sort of journaling this whole journey for 6 months. So that remains to be seen. It really depends on this, actually. And whatever happens in the future, I guess, because it looks like things are shaken down. There's all this emergency stuff happening now. No matter what people think, that is our brother, okay? That is our cousin. That is our uncle. And it's very painful to watch him disappear and then watch his whole life disappear, his whole life's work. No matter what you think of it, the brother I see is the one who was in his room praying and seeking the Lord after our father died, okay? That's the brother I know. Other people have their own experiences, but that's the man I knew, okay? And I'm never going to stop loving him no matter what. I can see things that have happened, I can, but I'm never going to stop loving him, ever. We need these ashes. In Montgomery County, Texas, what they did to us, and the coroner's office, super nice people, spent, long periods of time on the phone answering questions. I still, I got the autopsy report and I looked up a lot of things. I still had questions. I just don't even have the heart to call at this point. It's just so much. But I eventually probably will call them again, and they're very kind people, and they feel really bad about what happened to us. They've never had anything like this in their office before, because I asked. But the policy of the county needs to change. Next of kin should be able to have documentation, even if it comes from an outside source. That was their thing of not giving it to us, that if it was generated from paperwork they had internally, that we could have it. But because it came from the outside, that they say, well, it's not ours to share. Well, that's crap. That needs to be changed, because look at what happened to us. And who would know my brother's signature more than us? I kept calling it a will. I didn't even know what it was called at first, this paper. So, yeah, we were devastated. And then I spent hours every day when I wasn't working trying to figure out what to do, just to figure it out. And then there's lawyers who don't want to get involved, and then some who do, and it's a lot of money. And we were so blindsided, and there was just a very short window to be able to do something, because he was gone. He was decomposing. You just can't let it go on for months. He had to, at some point, have a funeral, and we just accepted it and thought we're going to get our ashes, and then now we don't have that. And you guys, this has to happen now. What better voice of healing can there be than to take care of his natural family and let us have what we deserve, and let us put our brother to rest. And please, everyone, please, I'm leaving the comments open, but if it gets crazy and I start hearing a bunch of crap, I'm going to shut it down, okay? You can have your feelings about it. Honestly, you can, but we're not calling names. We're not doing anything like that. We're not calling people out at this point, okay? I'm trying to show as much grace as I possibly can, and I'm expecting it in return.